Okay, here I am. Now I'm back, and I found my post. I clicked wrong, but there it is, $76. And I just want to go over the evidence. I already showed you the bill that I found where Dr. Hinton charged the insurance company right here, and for January 28, 2012. Okay, his name was not found on the ER report. Okay, but there he is. He charged the insurance company $76 for X-rays on that night, and that's the night that it's known, proven that the X-rays were faked. Okay. My first comment: I wondered if the ex-wife's brother-in-law, who was the ER doctor the night was shot, was fake. Is one of the doctors told was killing people for profit. And what I did here is this is transcript from the protective order hearing on December 18, 2013, 22 months after the murder attempt. And I testified under oath in court that the secret is that a group of doctors, she told me this. She said the secret is a group of doctors killing people for profit. Well, she never told me the entire time we was married that her brother-in-law was a doctor, okay? And so I testified that into court, and I was hoping that they would investigate and stop these serial killing doctors, okay? While doing research on the builders of my home, Tabor Construction, I saw where this listed business address was a home also owned by my ER doctor. Remember I said that, okay? And so here I was Googling, Tabor Construction. They're not in business anymore. And their address was 3217 Mark Lane. Well, you can go over to MidCAD, the Midland County Appraisal District, and look up the deed history for that house. And that's what I did. And there it is, 3217. And I went in there and boom, I'm going, whoa, my ER doctor used to own the same home. That's the address for the builders of my home. The ER doctor, my brother-in-law, that I didn't know about, that was there on the night that I was ambushed and shot, and them x-rays were faked. What a coinky dinky. Okay, it looks like the person that faked the x-rays was a lab tech with a generic ID named user in interface who I've never been able to get identified. Okay, this I parsed out the ER report. Okay, and I'm going to show you what happened here. Okay, the ER doctor, the old brother-in-law, he orders 3 x-rays. Okay, and then that was at, here, let me show you, see if I can find the timestamp right there. 11:37 orders 3 x-rays, canceled by user in interface at 11:41, okay? And then the user in interface, secret lab tech, ordered 2 x-rays, okay? And then they returned the x-rays, and they were time stamped 10 minutes before they were ordered, okay? And that's what I'm showing you here, okay? And then this is also the same medical report where I seen where Dr. Hinton, the radiologist, right, his name is not on here. But who is on here is user in interface. And user in interface was somebody that had the authority to cancel the doctor's orders for 3 x-rays and then reorder 2 x-rays. And well, why did they do that? And I think the reason they did that, one, they were already working on faking the x-rays. They were taking the other guy's x-rays and putting my name on them before they were even ordered, okay? Because I believe they knew, they were in the process of covering up this failed murder. They were faking them x-rays. And that what explains this is how come that the x-rays are time stamped before they were even ordered. And then also this secret lab tech user in interface is canceling the doctor's orders and reordering, canceling 3 x-rays, reordering 2, and then bringing out x-rays that are time stamped before they were even ordered. Okay, that's the point. And that was only one of the proofs that I found showing my x-rays are fake. There was 2 other proofs showing. So there's absolutely no doubt. There's multiple proofs showing the x-rays are fake. Okay. And then here, my next one, I see where Dr. Hinton charged the insurance company $76. And that's almost, it's irony if this is what happened and they get busted because they charge for $76. They're trying to keep themselves secret. No, nobody's going to find out who faked the x-rays because we're going to log in with user in interface, and we're not going to tell the patient who it is. So now we can go fake everybody's x-rays because we log in with an ID that's untraceable, So you go up there to the hospital and, and they go, oh, look like you broke your arm. arm. Look at this x-ray. And how do you know that's even your arm in the x-ray, right? Or here we got a little spot on your lung. We got to take your lung out. That's going to be a real expensive procedure. How do you know that's your lung? You see what I'm saying? When you can't trust these doctors and they're doing these procedures, this is very profitable to them, right? That's why the Texas Medical Board should have shut them down a long time ago. And then besides that, I don't believe this is accidental malpractice. I think this is intentional on purpose, with the purpose of trying to cover up a premeditated capital attempted murder that was going to make the ER doctor's sister-in-law rich. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to show you a little bit more. Dr. Hinton was the doctor who later told me he compared my x-rays from 117 to 1912 when I was shot 11 days later. I'm going to just show you that. Here's the radiological report. This was a couple months after the murder attempt. And there it is. He shows the gunshot wound injury date was on 11712. Well, maybe that's a typo. Well, it's not a typo because here he compared to 11912. There's two different dates. That's how we know somebody was shot on the 17th. And that guy, I bet you anything, is missing his heel bone. And they took his x-rays, put my name on them. And since he didn't have a heel bone, then they took me into surgery and they cut my heel bone out. Okay, so they intentionally maimed and mutilated me in an effort to cover up this failed murder, for-profit failed murder, signed by Dr. Hinton here at the bottom. Okay, so that's where Dr. Hinton, has some questions to answer. Okay, it's believed that I was shot with a special plastic tip pellet-filled bullet called a Glazer safety slug to make it appear that I had. Okay, here's a little proof on there. The lab report shows that it's right here. The lab report shows the size of the pellets removed from my foot were 2.5 sizes different than the pellets in my gun. Okay, so there was one proof I wasn't shot with my gun. Okay, and then another proof came when the CSI that picked up my shotgun, he checked in 4 live shells from it, but he didn't check in an empty shell from it, which would have been in there if I had shot myself with my own gun. And now let's don't forget there was 11 secret police here that took 6 years to get identified that were caught tampering with evidence and lying on police reports. Okay. Another thing, the surgeon stated in his surgical report that he removed a large amount of plastic from the wound. Well, this Glazer safety slug is a plastic tip pellet-filled bullet that would make it appear, remember that word appear, that I was shot with a shotgun. Remember the ER doctor used that word. It appears that he was shot with a shotgun, right? And I think there was a reason he said that, because he knew they were trying to make it appear that I was shot with a shotgun. When I was shot with a .45 handgun, Lisa Rogers told me I was shot with a .45 handgun. I got it documented, and then even here, we know I was shot from the ground level. I had just reported a suspected tunnel to the DEA. Now, multiple people are documented reporting, tunnels and underground homes here. More than that, I was reporting people in the attic. Now there's 50 other homeowners across the nation documenting reporting people in the attic. A dozen addresses here in Midland. It's not a what if, could be. I wasn't shot with my gun, and that means somebody came to my home and shot me, and that's a premeditated capital attempted murder. I was home minding my own business when these killers came to my home with their guns and murderous intent. They didn't plan on me being crippled today. They planned on me being dead. The ex-wife didn't tell me that her brother-in-law was a doctor until after I'd been shot, and she seemed upset about it. Remember, I read that a minute ago. But what I said was there was an extra $500,000 in accidental death. If her lifelong childhood friend, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, dirty cop Rosie Rodriguez, ruled my murder an accident, it added $500,000, okay? So that's why they'd make it appear that I was shot with a shotgun, because they knew I had a shotgun. And, with these corrupt police covering up, this was a perfect murder. Nobody's going to suspect that somebody under your home shot you. I wondered how much those police were planning on getting, out of my estate when I was dead, because they were absolutely 100% involved in covering up this premeditated capital attempted murder. That's all there is to it, And if they did it to me, they're probably involved in killing the last guy that lived here. And it looks like it might have been police under my home shot me. We found that in 2019, police were under my home, and we know it's somebody under my home that shot me. The problem is I can't find any law enforcement that seems to care about these serial killing doctors, no matter how much evidence I give them. I provided proof of these horrific, nightmarish medical crimes to the Texas Medical Board, the FBI, DHS, Texas Rangers, Sheriff. I can't seem to get past a massive public corruption. I often wondered how many other people the doctors have killed. And if we had a press, then all they had to do was show the public this information, and the public would put pressure on law enforcement, but that's not happening. See, the press is a main party, man, to covering up these, to these horrific, nightmarish crimes that are going on, Here, this was just an example. It was emails from myself and to Texas Ranger Strain, and I'm telling him I believe the biggest crime is these doctors that are killing people for profit. This is what the ex-wife told me, and he asked me, he says, how would a doctor make money killing people for profit? Well, you got to remember, ER doctor, that was the brother-in-law of the ex-wife. She was going to get this paid for in special home. Has $1 million home in the backyard where they're murdering little girls, having oil show parties, right? There's your link right there. But I said, I don't know. I said, of course, my best guess is those doctors were involved in the sex trafficking, human trafficking crime ring. But I suggest that you ask her, the ex-wife, who told me. And I reminded him that I sent him evidence of her admitting to felony extortion. She looked, by her own admission, he can sit there and use that for leverage, going, we're going to send you to prison for extortion. You're looking at, whatever, 10 to 20 here. And we want you to start telling us about these doctors that are killing people for profit, But that didn't never happen, I mean, that's just absurd amount of corruption going on. Facebook won't allow me to show what my foot looked like 17 days after I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut, because it's too graphic. But I will say that I got to the hospital with 2 small holes that the ER doctor described as a through-and-through gunshot wound, which appears to be from a shotgun. And I left the hospital with faked x-rays, the back of my foot cut off to match the faked x-rays, and a giant hole cut in the side to make it appear that I'd been shot with a shotgun, when that isn't what happened. I was intentionally maimed and mutilated in an effort to cover up this failed murder that would have made the sister-in-law of the ER doctor rich, with the big prize being this special home and its underground home in the backyard. Okay, this is more from the medical records, okay? And this came from the ER doctor, my brother-in-law, that I didn't know about. And he wrote right here on it, right ankle exhibits a through-and-through gunshot wound, which appears to have been sustained by a shotgun blast. Isn't that interesting wording? When what they were trying to do was shoot me with a special plastic tip pellet bullet to make it appear that I was shot with a shotgun, so they could get that extra $500,000, And another thing is so they don't go to prison, or get the death penalty. That shot had been a fraction of an inch over, I'd be dead right now. I mean, this would be a death penalty case. Okay. I wanted to show you the other thing, and I didn't put it there, but Rosie Rodriguez, the dirty cop, Rosie Rodriguez, she wrote, "Buddy had half his foot blown off." No, I didn't. I had 2 small holes in my foot. The doctor sat there, he stated right there was a through-and-through gunshot wound. That was more Rosie's many lies, After the initial maiming and mutilation came the repeated and desperate attempts to talk me into allowing them to cut off the evidence, my leg. Thanks to clues from my dad, I didn't agree to the below-the-knee amputation. But you can see how they tried to make that happen, okay? And I'm going to show you here. I went through the medical records, and I just grabbed every time I saw them mention amputation, And so this was interesting. This was on the discharge report where they're writing in there, and an attempt was made to place him. That means in a mental hospital, because we thought the police department required that he not go home. Eventually, we found out that wasn't true, and he had been cleared by mental health services. And now, isn't that an amazing little comment right there? After, how many people call me crazy, and I've been cleared by mental health services all along, because it's absurd. I'm the victim of a capital attempted murder, right? That they're calling me crazy to cover up this violent crime. I offered this patient a right below the knee amputation. There we go. I explained that I thought he might linger for a while and then require an amputation later. He understood that's what I recommend. Okay, so there's one comment. Here's another day. I believe that as a major problem may very well require below the knee amputation. Here's another day. He does not wish to have an amputation to see if the limb can be served. The patient has been warned that is not likely. Here's another day. He will consider right BKA, below the knee amputation, for the second look. And I was there in the hospital 10 days. They were trying every single day. We had further discussions regarding continued wound care versus a below the knee amputation. He will consider below the knee amputation. They were desperate to cut my leg off, you know. Patient declines amputation at this time. He understands he's likely to require amputation. They didn't want anybody to see what they did. What they did is nightmarish. I mean, it's horrific what they did to me on purpose to cover up this failed for-profit murder. And once again, not willing to have a BKA placement as required by police. You see that. I mean, this is nightmarish right here, you know. And I often wonder, how many other people they've done this to, you know. I mean, you know, to think that I'm the only victim. I mean, these are sickos, right? They're no morals, no integrity. These people are evil to the core. I mean, I think we can all agree to that. There are lifetime consequences for the victims of violent crimes. I was home and minding my own business when these dangerous criminals sneaked in and shot me by surprise with my phone lines cut. The plan was not to cripple me, but to kill me and call it an accident using the corrupt police. That took 6 years to get identified. Okay, and that picture I can show you. It's the current picture. I can't show you. I mean, literally 17 days later, they won't allow me to show you because it's so graphic. I mean, there's just this big hole in my foot. You could look down and see the tendons, you know, and it is graphic, you know. Okay, I'm going to wrap that up there, but you know, I want to make it clear there is no doubt to the medical crimes. There's not. And what's scary is they have allowed this. I contacted I sent this evidence to the Texas Medical Board and all them other law enforcement agencies, and you know, nothing's changed. You know, there's no reason to think that you know, I wonder how many men, women, and children these doctors have killed. You know, wouldn't it be interesting if they get busted because of $76? This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.